You're listening to WhisperCracks, real voices, quiet truths. I used to believe that after 20 years of marriage, I knew what love meant. That trust was something permanent, something you could build a life on. But I was wrong. My name doesn't matter. I'm 41 years old. My husband, Paul, is 48. We have 2 children, Eric, who's 18, and Mary, who's 15. They are everything I've ever lived for. For most of our marriage, things were calm. He worked long hours and I stayed home with the kids. We didn't fight much, we didn't talk much either. I thought that was what comfort looked like, but silence can hide things. It started with a small moment. One evening, Paul was sitting beside me, scrolling through his phone. When he got up, I saw a message pop up. It was from Amy, my son's girlfriend. Amy has been part of our lives for years. She's sweet, polite, and kind. I thought of her almost like a daughter, but the message I saw wasn't something a daughter would write. It was personal, too close. I froze, telling myself I imagined it. But once you notice something strange, you can't stop seeing it everywhere. He began keeping his phone close. He smiled at his screen when he thought I wasn't looking. And when Amy came over, his voice softened. He laughed more. He seemed alive in a way I hadn't seen in years. One night, he fell asleep on the couch with his laptop open. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. There were messages, photos, conversations that broke me. He told her she made him happy. He said I didn't understand him. He called me distant. She agreed. They joked about me. It was cruel and cold. I sat there in shock. I didn't cry right away. I just stared, realizing the man I loved was betraying me and our son. Because Amy wasn't just anyone, she was family to us. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, listening to the clock tick, trying to understand how I missed it. When did he start seeing her that way? Was he waiting for her to turn 18 before crossing the line? The next day, I began saving everything. Screenshots, files, proof. I called my brother and he told me to leave. He said, "You can't stay another night." So I packed our things, picked up the kids, and drove to his house. They knew something was wrong. When I told them the truth, Mary cried. Eric just stared at the floor. He looked broken. Later, I met with Amy's mother. She had already suspected something. When she checked her daughter's phone, she found the same messages. Amy confessed. She said she cared for Paul, that they had feelings for each other. She said it wasn't wrong, that I didn't understand. I realized then that this wasn't just betrayal. It was manipulation. Paul had been guiding her for years, slowly gaining her trust. He waited until she was old enough to make it seem acceptable. But it wasn't. When I confronted him, he tried to deny it. He said I didn't know the full story. He became angry and defensive, but the fear in his eyes told me everything. I called my lawyer, filed for divorce, filed for custody, filed for protection. He isn't allowed near us anymore. He isn't allowed near the house. Eric started therapy. He's hurting, but he's strong. Mary says she hates her father. But I know she's grieving too. Amy still believes she's in love. She blames me for everything. She doesn't see what he did to her. Maybe one day she will. Paul still tries to reach out. He says he's sorry, that he didn't mean to hurt anyone. But love doesn't destroy your family. Love doesn't take from your own child. I spent 20 years believing I was the problem, that if I smiled more, stayed quiet, forgave faster, everything would be fine. But I was only making myself smaller. Now I'm done being small. I'm done being quiet. He took everything from me, but he doesn't get what's left. I'm rebuilding, slowly. For my children, for myself. And one day, when the silence in this house finally feels peaceful again, I'll breathe without pain. I'll laugh without guilt. And I'll remember who I was before he made me forget. This is my story. This is my truth. You've been listening to WhisperCracks. Real voices, quiet truths.